Surprisingly, I don't talk about my writing a lot online anymore. Before I really started getting into YouTube and art, it was the only thing I advertised. Then I realized that nobody cared. But since then, I've gathered a small audience that is willing to listen to me ramble on about whatever crazy story I've come up with. I think to start off, I should tell you about everything that I've done so far, so all of you can gauge just how serious of a writer I am. Since the age of 10, so 7 years, I've written 2 novels, 2 short films, over 100 poems, and 80 plus short stories. I'm currently in the middle of writing my 3rd novel. Before I was serious online and did art, all I did was write. All my free time was spent writing or coming up with story ideas. As I said before on this channel, I am very fueled by my emotions. When I was 12, my grandmother died of lung cancer, and that's really what kicked off my writing. I like to believe that everything happens for a reason, and that my grandmother's death brought the life into my creativity. It was really writing that saved me from going insane then. I didn't want to write or thought it was cool. I never actually read a book until the 5th grade, but I was suddenly compelled to write. What I find that a lot of people, writers included, don't talk about is why writers write. I need to write. I think up these characters and stories and lives on my own, and if I don't write them down and share them, then I'll go insane. It's really the characters that force me to write my stories. They scream at me to put them onto the page until I finally come up with the right story. I got published for the first time when I was 12. It was a story about a kingdom in the future with a mysterious disease and fantasy creatures. I got 2nd place in a contest with that story and was published online. I may or may not have also won $50. Even though I was happy that I'd won, I wasn't as excited as I thought it would be. I didn't get to explain the story of what it meant or talk to the people reading it. It was all behind closed doors. But I kept entering stories into contests. I still do, and I'm working on right now. I don't take them as seriously though. When I did, I got published into 13 anthologies in total, and even won a few of my school board's writing competitions. I do this because I want to share my work. I want to share my ideas. In 2014, I started putting up my stories online with writing websites. I found a really cool website called Figment.com, and I've gathered a bit of following on there. Sadly, in early 2017, the website was taken down because a contract had ended, and my 3 years of audience and hard work was gone. I have tried to start my online writing again on Wattpad.com, but it's not the same, nor do I feel the same way about it. I'll still write. I'm always writing. I'm writing this right now. So let me tell you about my series. When I was 13, I finished my first novel. It's titled Life as He Knows It. I'm currently on the 14th edit draft of this novel, and really I'm just waiting for an editor at this point. The book is about Ben, a 14-year-old kid whose dad had just cheated on his mother and left them. So in anger, Ben runs away with 2 other kids in his neighborhood, Josh and Aubrey. They go on an adventure and shit. I don't want to spoil anything. The next novel I finished last summer, and it's called Let Me Go. This one takes place about 8 to 10 years after the first book, and has a different main character, Jules. They're 17, has a loving family, a boyfriend, good friends, but then there's a shooting at their school, and everything goes to shit. The story does involve characters from the previous book, and deals with similar themes, but in a more mature way since I'm older now than when I wrote the first one. I'm in the middle of writing the 3rd novel in the series, called Someone Else's Name. Poppy is our main character this time. She's also 17, and lives with her dad and her dad's bandmates. They live an isolated life because of a scandal that happened 6 years ago between her dad and a cop. I'm only on the 2nd chapter, so please ignore my shit description. I try to evoke emotion in my writing as much as I can. I try to feel what my character feels, even if they're a completely different person. I can't explain to you how much writing means to me. It's the biggest part of my life, and apart from YouTube, is my career. So if you want, I'll put the link to my Wattpad below, and you guys can read some of my work. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next week, and don't be shy in the comments. I love feedback and questions. If you have any suggestions as to what you want to see, please comment. Alright, bye guys.